Hi guys, we're going to do a foundation review today and a wear test of this Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue foundation. It's got really nice packaging. Comes in this tube and it has a pump. And this has skincare in it, which is what drew me to this foundation, and the fact that it's a hydrating, radiant foundation. I'm so into the radiant foundations now. I used to be a matte lover. I only wore matte foundations 5 years ago and before, but I'm so into the hydrating, radiant kind of foundations. I think as I grew older, my skin's getting a little drier, so I'm turning to more radiant, hydrating, lightweight foundations. I used to go for full matte, full coverage foundations a few years ago, but the fact that this has skincare in it and it's SPF 45, so I don't know how I feel exactly about SPFs in foundations, sunscreen in foundation, because, well, one, that you have to, as we all know, you have to reapply your SPF, your sunscreen every 4 hours to 5 hours. So I don't know if it's effective. If it's like an 8-hour day, this is a perfect foundation, let's say, to wear to work, or if you have an event outside for just a few hours, out in the sun, maybe it's a foundation for you. But as we know that you need to reapply your sunscreen every few hours. So I don't know, when you put powder on top of it and everything in such a foundation, you can't really reapply your sunscreen. So I don't know if I would rather use a sunscreen underneath my foundation and then use like an SPF setting spray every few hours, or an SPF powder to kind of touch up. I don't know which one is better, but like I said again, if it's like an 8-hour day, or if you have any event for just a few hours, then maybe it's a great thing to have sunscreen in the foundation. But anyway, I'm very intrigued by the fact that it has SPF. It is SPF 45 and it has skincare in it. In the review, I will be reading a few ingredients out to you while I apply the foundation. If you want to see how this foundation performed, then keep on watching. Okay, let's get started. So I have primed my face using the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. Well, of course, I moisturized before that. And then I used the Charlotte Tilbury Color Corrector. And then I covered up the Charlotte Tilbury Corrector with this Kevyn Aucoin. That's also kind of a color corrector and a concealer all in one. It's kind of salmon colored, so I topped it with that one. I mean, I don't need to use both, but I'm extra like that. And oh yeah, before that, after I moisturized, I first put this under my eyes before I went in with the other under eye products. So that's all I have on my face. So I'm gonna get started with the foundation, the star of the show. So I think I want to use, since this is a hydrating foundation, and kind of like luminous one, I want to use my Hourglass foundation brush right there. It's very liquidy, as you can see, very kind of liquidy. Let me put it on the back of my hand. So that's the consistency. See, it's a little runny. So oops, now I have to get it off the back of my hand. Let me find a mirror. So I'm gonna go in with, and I forgot to say, I also used this just on my T-zone, the pore areas, the Tatcha Pore Filling Primer, I forget, Timeless Smoothing Primer. So now I'm going in with the foundation. This is a tad too light for me. I ordered the tan shade, which I thought, usually tan is the word that I look for when I buy foundation. So the one that said tan, I bought that one. But this is slightly, just a little too light. But I think there was a shade called bronze, I believe. I'm gonna get that one too and then mix them together, and then I'll probably get my perfect shade. I gotta say the shade range was not the best. Let me look up what the shade range, how many shades they had. It wasn't very much. Yeah, I thought it was 20 shades. Yeah, it's 20 shades. That's all they have. So it's not the best shade range. I mean, it's better than some others, but I would say, you know, you need to at least have 30 shades in a foundation for people to find their correct shade. You know what I mean? Gosh, this hair is getting in the way today. So right off the bat, I gotta say, I mean, I've used this foundation before. This is not a first impressions by any mean, and I don't really like to do first impressions because they tend to not be so accurate. They're not the best, especially when it comes to reviewing a foundation. This is not my first impressions. I don't want to give it away what my verdict is right now, so I don't want to say too much, but I gotta say right now, when I'm putting it on, I will tell you what my feelings were when I first put it on, and right now when I'm putting on again. It goes on so smoothly and just kind of blends in so well, kind of meshes with your skin without sitting on top of your face. You know what I mean? If you understand what I'm trying to say, it just kind of like soaks in, not soaks in, that's the wrong word. It kind of just blends into the skin like a dream, you know. I would use a brush, foundation brush with this, like the one I'm using, a really soft dome-headed foundation brush with this foundation, because it's a luminous one and it's very light in consistency. I wouldn't use the beauty blender. I would imagine that it would soak up a lot of product, so I would not use a beauty blender with this foundation. So if you feel like you're getting too many streaks or something, I'm not noticing any, but if you feel like it, then you can go on top of it with a beauty blender again, if that's what you want to do. But you know, you can use like a stippling motion like this to avoid brush marks. And first you can apply it and then you can stipple it on. So I'm going back and stippling it on. I'm not noticing any brush marks. I'm going to bring it down to my neck. You got to do that with every foundation. When you apply foundation, you got to bring it down to the neck. So I used two, like half, actually not, they weren't two pumps. It was like I didn't squeeze it all the way down. I didn't press it all the way down. So that what I used was like 2 half pumps-ish, maybe even less than a half pump. So it's a little bit, goes a long way, unlike what I thought would be the case. I thought it would take a lot of foundation to cover my face, but it didn't. It was just like less than half pumps, 2 less than half pumps. So I would say kind of close to a pump would get you get your whole face covered. I'm gonna do my ears a little bit. Making sure I'm still recording because this camera has a way of just quitting on me. So do you see the coverage? I mean, I would say this has medium coverage in terms of coverage. I don't know what the claims are. What was the claim? On the Sephora website, it says a flawless foundation with breathable coverage and a radiant finish, powered with Estée Lauder skincare to hydrate, soothe, and protect. I will say right off the bat, I can tell you that it is a flawless foundation, almost. It's got great coverage. It's obviously, and I can tell very much, I've used this foundation before, it is breathable. Breathable coverage for sure. It doesn't sit on top of your skin like some kind of mask. It blends right into the skin, and it's very breathable, very lightweight, and it is definitely radiant finish. Very hydrating. It feels hydrating, and it has skincare in it, so that's really awesome. So I'm curious to know what kind of ingredients this has. So this has a bunch of like water, of course, dimethicone. So it has dimethicone, zinc oxide. So the first 5 ingredients: enzulizole, 2.7%, actinoxate, octisalate. So yeah, the list goes on. So those were the oh, I see some fruit oil in here. I see sativa seed oil, fruit extract. Like I was saying, this foundation is definitely hydrating, and it's lightweight. It glides on and blends into the skin like a dream. It does not feel like a mask. It, you know, I can hardly feel that it's even on my face. It's a beautiful radiant finish. My skin's so dry right now, it just kind of, you know, it kind of was like a bucket of water on my skin. And now I gotta say, because my skin's so dry, it's not like, see, although it's a radiant foundation, it's not, I wouldn't call it dewy, because dewy implies that it's, you know, shiny and juicy, you know. Still, it's definitely not shiny or juicy like that on the skin. It's just, if you can see, let me, actually you guys are close enough. It's basically just a radiant sort of sheen to the foundation. But I wouldn't call it dewy, but it is hydrating at the same time, if I'm describing this right at all. So I'm liking it, guys, right away, the way it went on my face, the way it blended, and the way it's sitting on my skin right now. Loving it. So let me go ahead and use concealer and do the rest of my face real quick, and I'll be right back with my final thoughts. My face, I haven't set it yet, so I wanted to show you a close-up of my skin. Please ignore up here, I got a peel and I'm still peeling up on my forehead. Ignore that, that's not the foundation's fault. But down here, I just wanted to show you the finish of this foundation. It's very radiant. I have set my face and I have buffed my face with powder. I buffed my face with the Sicily powder. I set my face with the By Terry hyaluronic powder. So this is after putting powder on. I showed you guys before I put anything else on it. The radiant sort of beautiful finish that the foundation had. I love the finish of this foundation. It's definitely not full coverage, but it's buildable. It's medium coverage, I would say. And then you can build it up to almost a full coverage. I just love the way it looks. It's so beautiful. The finish is just so beautiful. and it's sitting so light on my skin. I don't feel like I'm wearing anything. Just really love, I mean, just ignore my peeling, but love the finish of the foundation. So now I'm going to set my face and see what it looks like afterwards. So that's after setting my face. Pretty much the same. Beautiful finish. Just love, love, love the way this foundation looks. So my final thoughts, you guys, is that this is going to be one of my favorite ride or die kind of foundations. I have a feeling. I'm not sure how it will be in the summertime when you are sweating a lot and you know, it's so sunny and bright outside, but I would say that it would hold up. So my final thoughts on this foundation, it's a beautiful foundation. The finish is just gorgeous and you can't really feel it sitting on your face. It glides on so smoothly, blends out really well, very lightweight, and I can kind of feel the skincare in it, if you know what I mean. I feel like it's good for my skin, better than the other foundations. I mean, no makeup is actually good for your skin because it clogs your pores and whatnot, but you know, in terms of wearing makeup, you want to put the best stuff on your face, in my opinion. I love this foundation. It's radiant, but it's not juicy and too dewy, you know. It's not shiny to the point that it looks greasy. It's by no means greasy at all. It's very lightweight, beautiful finish. If you don't have to set your face, in my opinion, I really didn't have to set my face, but I always set my face. So if you don't want to put powder on top of it and kind of take away a little of that radiance, then don't do it. But I feel like the radiance shines through even with powder on top of it. So I love this foundation, guys. So those are my final thoughts. Thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video.